deficit on current account always result in lower SOL in. Okay, so this is the question, okay? You have 30 seconds to think about it. After which I'm gonna generate the points with you guys. Okay, discuss the view that policies to correct a VOP deficit on current account always result in lower SOL in an economy. Okay, so you notice that the question is kind of indirect and quite challenging simply because there are three variables here. The three variables are BOP deficit on current account, SOL, as well as policies. Okay, so usually right in a question there are only two variables, means two things lah. You may start at end point, that's all. But now there are like three. Okay, so you think very carefully. Okay, what is your approach going to be like? What is the invisible component? Okay, what are the keywords? Okay, guiding you guys a bit. Okay, so if let's say, okay, discuss the view. So you know that because of the word discuss, you know that's a two-sided analysis. And here we're supposed to bring in policies. And what's the purpose of a policy? The policy is meant to correct a BOP deficit on current account. Stay so long, right? It's just current account deficit, right? When you current account deficit, then you may want to, okay, clue, you may want to make certain assumptions about your current account deficit. And eventually you're going to link it to what? Standard of living. Okay, think about it. We're going to discuss this, okay? Anyone who's ready can start sharing. What do you think you put in your visible component? If you think that it is quite challenging for you to think of the invisible component now, you can actually think of what is the heading for your visible component. Okay, you can think of what is the heading for your visible component. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let me guide you a little on this in case you find a bit of difficulty. Meaning to say, right, visible component. Okay, I'm just helping you a bit, yeah. The thinking process. Okay, the thinking process. Because you know that for the visible component, you have to answer the question directly, right? So what's the visible component about? Visible component thesis will be along the lines of, yes, policies to correct, in short, current account. It will lower SOL. Agree? Agree, yeah? Antithesis is what? Opposite, right? No. Policies correct current account deficit will not lower SOL. If it doesn't lower SOL means it will mean that SOL might even agree. So you either argue for how it will not lower SOL or how it might even increase SOL. Understand? But the thing is this, okay? This is only the visible component, the direction, what you are supposed to generate. But if you think about it, okay, the invisible component is very important as well because it's asking for you to bring in certain things that the question didn't specifically say that you have to bring in there, but it's supposed to help you to answer the question when you go on to the visible component. So what do you think you have to put in for your invisible component? Anyone?
Define what the BOP deficit is.
Very good. This is one of the invisible component. What do you mean by define what the BOP deficit is?
The government spending and taxes.
Oh, huh? Winston, Winston.
What's that called? The imports and exports thing.
Wow. Okay. I was sweating. I was sweating. It's because just now what you said sounds more like what? Budget deficit. Okay. Take note, I got this student just last year only. Okay, he has always done well for his econs. Okay lah. Initially he didn't do well. Initially he's more like a repeat student actually. So initially he didn't do well. So when he joined me, he was already repeating. Repeating as in not say repeat A levels, but he was actually more of a retained student okay, who decided to do the A levels, of course, in another year. So what happened was that in his prelims, okay, he actually mistaken the BOP deficit or current account deficit as what? No, as budget deficit, just like you. Okay, so when he could have been getting A for the prelims, right, he actually in the end got a what? I think he got a C, something like that. Okay, Ken? So you have to be very careful now, because once this thing is wrong, it's wrong throughout, no? Okay, yeah? Now, okay, so you have to make the assumption, right? Assumption. What's the assumption? The assumption that the current account deficit what? Just now what did the reason say? He said that X is lesser than M, right? What is this called? Net exports. What is this component called? Anyone? There's a name for it. Winston is right. Winston is right. But then what we want the term. Okay, Celestine?
Is it balance of trade?
Correct. Okay? Understand, right, guys? Then you may ask, Winston may be thinking, like, if I don't bring in this BOT, is it okay or not? Not say not okay, but the thing is that you know it, then you may as well just put it in to show off whatever you know. Don't keep it to yourself, right? Not okay. So current account deficit is we are assuming that is due to a BOT deficit, where export is lesser. Export revenue is lesser than import expenditure. Understand? Okay. All right. But of course before that, you may want to also define what is a BOP. Agree or not? You must first define BOP, right? Because it's a BOP deficit on the current account. So you say, okay, what is a BOP? Okay, it records the transaction that a country has for the rest of the world, with other countries, with rest of the world for a period of 1 year, right? Now, okay, the BOP records the transactions that a country has with the rest of the world for a period of 1 year. Correct? Okay, for a period of 1 year. And then what happens after that? Then after that, you have to say that, okay, so for BOP, it is the main component. Okay, main component of the BOP is the BOT. Okay, main component of BOP. It's okay, I can say current account and the capital account, where we will assume that, wait, maybe I should put it this way. Assumption. Current account deficit is due to a BOT deficit. Like that, it flows nicer, right? You realize that? Okay, you realize that, right? But that's not all, no, guys. That's not all. There's another important thing to bring in. What do we have to bring in? Anyone? You don't bring in that, right? You can't answer the question. But if you bring it in later, also can. But if you bring it in later, it's going to make your whole essay very messy. Very messy. Okay? Make a guess. What is the invisible component here?
The policies.
Winston, very good. Can you all see that? Can you all see that or not? Very good. Why is it policies? Because did they say very explicitly, can you please tell me what policies are used to deal with current account deficit? No. They just say, okay, the view that policies to research results in lower as well. But the thing is that you need to at least say what policies are used first to correct the BOP or to correct the BOT deficit, right? 1.1 paragraph, one policy, one paragraph. Then after that, in your visible component, that's where you can talk about the policy itself. Don't need to say how it works already. Don't need to say how it works already to correct your BOT deficit. But just go straight to say how that policy itself lower or not lower as well. Understand? So that you keep your visible component very clean. Very clean means the policy is basically just specific to link to SOL. No need to go and say policy to correct this, then affecting SOL. Understand? Clear? Clear, yeah? Okay, now, can you guys tell me, right? Okay, so you have to bring in also policies to correct OT deficit. So what would that be? Anyone? We just did that last week, actually. Correct now. Last week we were covering on BOP, right? Policies to do with BOP, right? Okay, come on. Come on, guys. You can refer to the notes, it's fine. Okay, but advice to you guys are bring in the policies. You have to work backwards. Okay, guys, you have to work backwards. Bring in the policies that will eventually link to standard of living. If the policies can't help you to link to standard of living, don't bring in. You understand or not? You all don't want to be caught in a situation whereby you come up with the policies, right, only to find that, oh, I cannot link it to SOL later on. Or you have difficulty linking to SOL later on. Then you have to redo your point. Okay, then that's wasting a lot of time. Understand? Okay. Okay, now, so whoever's ready can start sharing. Of course, then you ask me, will you define standard of living? Yes, you will. You will define standard of living, but much later. When is the much later? The much later means, wait, ayo, no more space, oh my god. Okay, when will you define your standard of living? You will define your standard of living, right? So I just put a note here. Define SOL, okay, right before the visible component. Because then you may ask me, why can't I actually, define standard of living in my invisible component way much earlier in the introduction? Answer is you cannot, because you won't actually need to talk about SOL until much later. You see? So it won't actually flow very nicely. You understand? Okay, it won't flow that nicely. In terms of paragraphing, this is one paragraph. And for the policies wise, 1.1 paragraph. So this is another policy. This is another paragraph. This one is another paragraph as well. But this one is one policy, one paragraph. My next question to you guys is, as much as we bring in the policies to correct a BOT deficit, do we need to bring in the limitation of the policy about how it cannot correct BOT deficit? Yes or no? Again, for this question, as much as we bring in the policies to correct the BOT deficit in our invisible component, 1.1 paragraph, do we need to bring in limitations of the policy to correct the BOP deficit? Limitation means, oh, this policy is not effective. Then you say why. Is it important to bring in that? Okay, Celestine, no. Okay. Then Winston and Najat?
I think no.
Okay, Najat?
No.
Very good, all correct. Why? Because the question, you all know a question is not concerned whether the policy is effective to correct the BOT deficit or not. Correct or not? The policy is already assuming that the question is already assuming that the policy can correct the BOT deficit. It must solve the BOT deficit. Okay, so you just have to go one way. How it solve the BOT deficit? Then after that, visible competence, yes, assuming that this policy can solve the BOT deficit, how this policy, okay, yes, result in lower SOL and how it will not. Clear or not? Clear, yeah? You understand the flow, right? Okay, understand the whole logic, right? The whole thinking process, yeah? Okay, this question is a very good practice because once you can see what is this huge invisible component is about, and if you see similar questions like this, you know what to do. Okay, you just have to analyze the rationale of coming up with such a structure. Okay, once you get it, you get it. It's just that the questions are in different contexts. Clear, guys? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move on to the next slide, and then we will start generating the policies while working backwards. Okay, while working backwards. So I'll just clear this, yeah. Lower SOL, okay. So can we have the policies, please? Anyone? Then, of course, we also have like how thesis number 1 later on. You'll see how the policy, specifically what policy, okay, lowers. Okay, so we can have a different points. Okay, come guys.
Deflationary.
Come again?
Deflationary.
Okay, deflationary policies, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, can. So what will you be, how would you use, what will you use? Winston is right. Okay. Okay, so first thing first, are you going to use expenditure switching policy or expenditure reducing policy?
Switch or how? I'm very confused.
Okay, remember or not? When we talk about solving BOP, right? Solving BOP deficit, remember current account deficit, right? We have expenditure reducing policy, we also have expenditure switching policy, right? Okay, yes. So and of course other policies lah. Okay, which one do you want to use?
Reducing.
Okay, expenditure reducing. Okay, so expenditure reducing, okay, Winston is going to use expenditure reducing policy. So Winston, which one are you using? Which tool? Which policy specifically?
Restrictive demand management policies.
Okay, such as which one you want to use? Take note, the policy you use, got to link it to SOL later. So which one do you want to use? You're right, demand side policy.
I know the SOL, but I don't know the thing. Like, I know how it affects, but I don't know what's the in between.
Okay, anyone want to help Winston or not? Anyone? Yes? Okay, but good try now. Okay, Winston, expenditure reducing is correct. Okay, but how? Okay, so guys, anyone, please? We just went through this last lesson, so this is why we need to practice, right? Practice, okay, come. Okay, so how does it work? Anyone? You can refer to the notes, it's fine. Okay, how to reduce expenditure?
If the government reduce the expenditure, is it?
Yeah, okay. Winston?
I think both.
Both what?
Both works, like the monetary and fiscal policies.
Okay, can. But then if let's say you want to eventually link it to SOL, right? Is it better to bring in interest rates or is it better to bring in government reduce the G? Which one is easier? Okay, it's because Celestine mentioned decrease G, right? Then Winston mentioned monetary policy also, fiscal policy also can, yeah. But if you just choose one, then which one will you bring in? And Najah very quiet. Najah, what do you think? Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, expenditure reducing policy, right? I would think that it's better to talk about the contractionary fiscal policy. Okay, and this one will involve the cut in G. You know why not? Okay, later I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. So you see, how does it work? A cut in the G, right? How does it work to solve the BOT deficit? Remember we said, right, cut in G will lead to the fall in AD, remember? Right. Fall in AD will have led to what? A fall multiplied in national income, right? Okay, via the multiplier effect. This one don't need to say multiplier, don't need to go and explain multiplier, yeah? Multiplier, because it's not the main thing. Okay, you just have to say there's a multiplier decrease in national income, that's all. Okay, then because of this, you will lead to what? Fall in households, what? Income, right? Lead to a fall in the households purchasing power, right? Okay, then from there, it will have led to the fall in imports. Agree? Not just fall in imports, but also consumption lah. But more importantly, we mentioned the M because we want to link it to how the fall in M, okay, will have possibly led to the rise in X minus M. Therefore, it can correct BOT deficit. Correct? Make sense? Okay, right. Okay, this is only the policy. This is only one policy, yeah? So there's one paragraph. Okay? Now, by right, we are supposed to finish all the policies before we move on to the visible component. Okay, this is the visible component already. The body paragraph. This is still part of the structure-wise, this is still part of the invisible component, which is the introduction. Okay, understand? Now, I'm just going to demonstrate to you, okay, that we of course demonstrate to you how we will use the policy to link it to the visible component. Okay, so what policy is it? Okay, thesis one, I'll say that the expansionary or rather contractionary FP, okay, fiscal policy, leads to a fall in the SOL. Okay, so this is my thesis one. So how do I do it? I'll say, right, okay, contractionary FP, okay, fiscal policy, okay, assuming that it is, or rather not assuming, okay, due to the fall in G, okay, right, because we say here, right, it's a cut in G, right, okay, so due to the fall in G, so this will have actually led to what, and assuming government cuts back spending on, which is the easiest, okay, right, not, that's the easiest, right, cuts back on healthcare spending. So what's going to happen? Then this will reduce the availability and possibly quality of healthcare services. Make sense? Make sense or not? Then because of that, this will lead to a fall in life. Or maybe we say people fall sick with all the spread of diseases like malaria or whatever thing it is, etc. Okay, then because of this, fall in life expectancy. Because remember when you do the chapter on national income accounting, right? Like no material, non-material standard of living, remember? Yeah. So that's where you have to link it to then, okay, people, because there's a fall in life expectancy in terms of the number of years they can live. So you lead to a fall in non-material SOL. Understand or not? You all understand this? Okay? So, right, in case you guys are still confused, what I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is that if you all notice, okay, fine. Shucks, okay. If you all notice, right, that we talk about like how, because this so-called contractionary FP, this contractionary FP involves the cut in G. So what we did, right, in our invisible component is to explain how this policy works to correct the BOP deficit. But because the visible component wants us to say how it will have led to the fall in non-material standard of living, so basically, when we go on to the visible component, okay, the first point, we have to do a link between this so-called contractionary FP, and this is also due to the fall in G. You understand? Okay? So then I made a further assumption because, I have to say how exactly the fall in G, which is in terms of healthcare, okay, could possibly lead to a fall in life expectancy. And how I know is because I know that I have to link it back to standard of living as part of my question requirement. And you know that standard of living can be material or non-material. But because I put in here non-material, so I have to tie in with something which is intangible, which is life expectancy, and that gives me the cutting back on spending on healthcare. Understand? Clear? Okay? Got it, yeah? You guys okay or not? Okay, so this is just one so-called, okay, again, yeah, take note, yeah. What we need to do is that we need to make sure that we finish again, okay, in terms of structure, as what I showed you earlier on. We need to finish, okay, finish points generation for the policies before moving on to the visible component. Linking policies to SOL, be it material or non-material or non-material. Got it? Okay, understand? It's fine, right? Understand, yeah, the approach. Okay, very good. So, yes, with that, we'll end here for the day. Then I will actually, we'll